Does Echo mark the dawn of a new era for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? We're not entirely sure about that, but the bloody new trailer definitely has everybody talking. If it feels like we've been down this road before with several of the studio's recent productions, that's because we have. By now, the damage done by divisive reactions to projects like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Secret Invasion, and more have put Kevin Feige and his leadership team in as unenviable a position as they've ever experienced. But with so much uncertainty, skepticism, and maybe even desperation setting in for Marvel Studios, the debut of our first real look at Echo feels all the more intriguing.
So, who's the monster?
The surprisingly violent trailer footage appears to have caught everyone by surprise, promising a tone and storytelling approach more comparable to Netflix's gritty, blood-soaked Daredevil than most fans could have expected. But that's only scratching the surface of what this series, a spin-off from Alaqua Cox's performance as Maya Lopez in Hawkeye, could represent in the grand scheme of things. Already, those involved have indicated that the rare TVMA rating teases that this is definitely a departure from the norm for Disney+. Then there's the show's simultaneous release on Hulu, a potential sign of things to come following Disney's official takeover of the former NBC Universal streamer. Between the shared universe possibilities and the business implications hanging over its head, a lot more could be riding on its success than fans could have ever anticipated. Of the many overlapping narratives currently swallowing up the MCU, one of the most interesting has to do with how the studio officially reintegrates street-level heroes and villains like Daredevil, Kingpin, and the Punisher into the MCU proper. It's become increasingly clear that, despite some references here and there, the various Marvel Netflix shows have gone the way of the Star Wars expanded universe.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Though this may alienate viewers who hoped to see the MCU continue the events told in Daredevil, The Punisher, and Jessica Jones, this allows Feige's expanding stable of Disney Plus shows to be free of confining and possibly contradictory canon. But even beyond the lore of it all, fans have continued to wonder, will the official MCU approach to these characters let them remain as violent, uncompromising, and vulnerable as they were before? The early returns on Echo seem to point to a resounding yes. Sure, we all remember the backlash in some corners when Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin appeared in Hawkeye with a cabana shirt and a distinct lack of the sociopathic tendencies fans remembered from Daredevil.
Mind your own business!
Here, however, it's a very different story. Not only does the trailer open with Fisk putting a vicious beatdown on some jerk who wouldn't give young Maya some ice cream, but it plays up a grown-up Maya's fear that her vigilante ways are leading her to become exactly as unhinged as her crime boss uncle. Should Echo actually commit to this dark and morally gray character arc, we might just be in for a more adult-minded approach than Marvel typically chooses, and the simultaneous Hulu release for Echo adds even more fuel to the fire. Ultimately, Echo is a multifaceted experiment in the making. That might seem like incredibly unfair pressure to put on a C-tier character, Marvel Studios' first deaf and Native American one in live action at that, which most general audiences probably haven't even heard of before. Last we heard, the viewership ratings on Hawkeye weren't all that high to begin with. But considering the dire straits Marvel has found itself in lately and the gambit of this relatively unprecedented release, there's little doubt that those in charge are keeping a close eye on how Echo is received, both critically and in terms of streaming performance. The multi-platform release suggests a few notable insights into Marvel's thought process here. First and foremost, plastering the marketing with disclaimers that viewers need to set your Disney Plus profile to TVMA to stream comes across like a humble brag, and, as the kids say, a flex. Having seen the success of much more adult-oriented superhero media like The Batman, Joker, Logan, and Deadpool, it was only a matter of time before Marvel finally dipped its toes in the deeper end of the swimming pool. Secondly, making Echo available on Hulu could be the studio's preferred way to preserve the brand of Disney Plus as a family-friendly destination while still having its cake and eating it too. If Hulu and Disney Plus aren't eventually going to be combined into one mega-streamer stateside, as many have suspected, then maybe Daredevil Born Again and other darker, more violent shows will follow a similar release pattern.